Metacritic tries to review Hollow Knight. This is not a Metroidvania, it's a Dark Souls as a 2D platformer. Awful game with so many bad design choices that it has to be bad on purpose. I don't recommend anybody to play it. Visually is one of the ugliest games I've ever played. I got suckered in by the hype on this one, unfortunately. This game is bland and tiring. I feel like other gamers must be seeing something I'm not. The difficulty comes from clumsy controls and enclosed areas in which it's difficult to avoid enemy attacks. The checkpoint system is ridiculous, often requiring you to travel a very long distance, killing all the enemies, again, just to get back to the boss. The health recharge system is clever, but you have to stand perfectly still to get the build up to start. This makes it almost pointless during close quarters combat where there is no real opportunity to use it. The graphics are very ooze flash game, not at all the inspired art style a lot of reviews seem to describe. I'm sure as more abilities unlock, the game will get better, but that doesn't justify what is a very poor opening 4 hours, which is giving me no real incentive to carry on. I'd recommend giving it a miss.
I really wanted to like Hollow Knight, but this game is not fun. I love challenge in a game. I even completed the Bloodborne Chalice dungeons, and I've completed every Souls game from Demon Souls onward. I don't mind taking my time and learning attack patterns / practice, but it's a real shame that the Hollow Knight designers have opted for some lazy artificial difficulty in most situations, rather than actually designing. For example, most bosses only have a couple of attacks, but have so much health that you may well lose due to making a mistake because of the sheer length of the time a fight can take. Another example is that some of the platforming sections require 10+ perfectly executed jumps with no save option anywhere along the way. This is made more frustrating as there is a slight delay in the game responding to jump in.
But what the fuck are you talking about? What are you even talking about? It's like 1-to-1. Ugh. This game, as many indie games nowadays, is overhyped and overpraised. The combat is fun, the movement is tight, the art style of the characters is really easy to enjoy, but it's far from a refinement of the Metroidvania formula. The progress in this game is hindered by long sessions of trying to find where to go next. Areas have barely any distinctive look and visual cue of direction, and God, it feels like there is no music or sound in this game. Remember Symphony of the Night, Super Metroid, these games that will make you get lost eventually. Not in the first 2 hours of the game though, but you won't mind getting lost since you are listening to a marvelous soundtrack and the map is not a time waster. Hollow Knight on the other hand is a 15-minute period of fun fighting new monsters or a boss, and then you're back to trying to figure out where to go in boring monochromatic mazes with no music to back you up. I do realize the game is moody and atmospherical, but that doesn't make it fun.
The map system is intentionally abusive. You literally have to buy and equip an upgrade just to see where you are on the map, and that's only after randomly stumbling upon the map NPC in every single area. Benches and fast travel are virtually non-existent. Putting even the smallest amount of effort into the player experience would go a long way. Playing this feels more like dating an abusive ex than a game designed with
absolute garbage. The biggest problem, you can teleport miles away when you die, losing your stuff. Why would I want to keep playing? Also, it's way too dark, literally, and way too grim dark. It's extremely repetitive and boring too.
I hate the game cause the outlay of the map is annoying. The enemy is annoying, not challenge. Ton of complex map to explore is annoying. Overall, the game is annoying more than fun and challenge like a Dark Soul.
Very frustrating game. I couldn't even get going as I got lost, and then once I found a map I next needed a compass. I can explore but want a map. I am not some waiter who memorizes orders. Pros, looked nice and the controls felt fine. Cons, lack of map, lack of compass.
A 2D Dark Souls clone made by hipsters. The level design is bad and some of the bosses are impossible. A game for sickos who are into punishing themselves. You enjoy playing your games? Avoid this one.
This game is pure punishment and torture. Game's supposed to entertain players, but this game will punish you on every corner. Hornet boss is very unfair and unpredictable. Haven't beat her for 5 hours in a row. Hate this game from from the very deep of my heart, will follow the developers and will never buy any single game from them again. This game feels like a chore in every sense of the word. Everything from the monotonous gameplay to the bland environments makes this game feel very dull. Don't believe the hype. Do not buy. Honestly, as someone who is used to challenging games, I found Hollow Knight to be one of the worst. I found the challenge here to be gimmicky at best, with cheap mid-bosses, damage model based on hits and touches by enemy, and awkward controls / platforming made even worse on the Switch, thanks to the Joy-Cons. No block, no dash, evade, no way to avoid getting hit. As I've mentioned, getting touched means getting hit. The enemies are very agile and have long reach. You yourself are very small and cover a short area, which leads to a lot of cases where you are being hit while trying to hit. In short, the combat is abhorrent. There is no learning curve like what you had in the Souls games, where if you could overcome a difficult enemies / sequence, you could get past it by learning from mistakes, learning new moves and strategies. There's none of the here, as the game is very straightforward. The platforming is probably the worst offender. It has this awful downward attack that you have to use to get through some parts, which is a pain to archive on the Joy-Con. What the fuck? Add to that the tight jumping sequences where you are harassed by enemies you can't avoid. You have to grind your ass off to buy basic game mechanics like maps. As it is, the game is unplayable and enjoyable without a scale back on the difficulty. Oh look, Team Cherry's trolls are barging in to downvote bad reviews.